and it came down to a goal line stand there against the Cal Golden Bears.
Yeah.
So your thoughts about the ball game?
Well, I think that's just how they're going to win these games. I don't think they're going to blow anybody out. And interesting game. The first half, they didn't have Kayvon Thibodeau. He gets on the field and is an absolute difference maker immediately. You can tell he's the best player on the field, and it just jumps off the page. So having him back just sets the tone for the whole defense. The defense was much tighter in the second half. The third quarter still is a major problem for the Ducks. Coming out of halftime, they're just absolutely flat. And they need to turn it on in the fourth quarter, and they do. And, man, it's just a weird environment, though. The first time I've really ever heard the stadium in a chorus of boos. I don't know if it's, again, directed exactly at the quarterback or if it's directed at the offense or the coaches or kind of a blend of everything. But then there's full-on chants of we want Ty Thompson. And, again, Ty Thompson is the highly regarded freshman quarterback that they have in the program. And then you have this super senior, in Anthony Brown, and you know that the coaching staff wants to go with Anthony, and because he's the guy. The hierarchy's already set, and by going with the freshman would just completely upset the apple cart at this point. I think a lot of fans are completely set on that, and they know they were going to that game to voice their opinion on it. And the Ducks didn't show up in the third quarter, so then you see the freshman warming up on the sideline, and it's like, okay, here we go. This is what's going to happen. The end of the half was really bad. The fumble, a sack at the very end. They just look completely disorganized and discombobulated. And they have time on the clock, and they're just running the ball like it's 10 minutes on the clock, and it's like a minute to go. I mean, what are we doing here? So there's just a lot of questions. People are very frustrated. You came off of such a great offense with Chip Kelly. Now this offense looks very vanilla, looks very traditional, looks much like the offenses you used to see in the South in the 80s and whatnot. And this is not the offense that they're used to. And Duck fans are just going to have to live with it at this point. I don't see any new type of offense happening in the next week or two.
And still, it's another win. It's another win. There was a loss to Stanford, but they continue to lead the division, continue to be the one hope for the Pac-12 to reach the playoffs. And I hope that this behavior is not being learned as a side note about your comment about the Anthony Brown / offensive coordinator / head coach disdain coming from the crowd, but it in particular being a chant toward bringing in the backup quarterback, something that we've seen recently at Oklahoma with Spencer Rattler and Caleb Williams, that it's not necessarily behavior that's going to be copied across the nation in these type of situations where when the fans aren't happy with the starting quarterback, that they automatically start chanting the backup quarterback's name. Don't think it's a good look.
It's not a good look, but I do think it's a trend that's not going to go anywhere. I think social media has only fueled this. I think everybody knows these senior quarterbacks or junior quarterbacks, they're putting all this hype into the highlight reels, and they're all over YouTube and they're all over Twitter, and it's everybody thinks these kids are just going to be the next Dan Marino, and then half of them pan out, half of them don't. That's just like it's always been. But the amount of eyes on these kids now is completely different than it was just 10 years ago. And I do think that now the transfer portal, you're going to have a lot of kids just deciding their own fate, like at a whim. As soon as they bench Rattler, I thought he was going to transfer. I mean, that's just the era we live in right now. So I'm not a fan of it, but I'm a fan of college football, and you got to go with it.